Robbo, team-wise, first of all, how different could the team look against Wakefield on Saturday?
Yeah, they've got some decisions to make. Obviously, Ollie Russ played really well for us, really well, and justified why we brought him back. It was great, but obviously it's his parent club that we're going against, so there are obviously stipulations in there that he can't play against them. So yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of a change, and once again we'll have a different partnership once again. We're going to make a decision on that later today.
You've got options, haven't you? I mean, Gagai could go to one and Flanagan could move into the halves, but there's also the possibility of Marshall Land making his Super League debut. You sort of alluding to that last week. Is that a realistic possibility on Saturday?
It is a realistic possibility. We'll see how training goes today and how everyone pulls up. We've had a turbulent times this year. There has been, but what it has done is we give 5 debuts this year to lads that probably wouldn't have got that experience. Algar played at Leeds and so did Archie Sykes, which they probably didn't even expect. They are still young academy lads. So and Marshall's played really well this year for the academy as well with them. He's played really, really well. We've got high expectations of him. He's a player that we're going to bring into the first team squad next year anyway. So, so in some aspects, I think, it'd be nice for him to have a run, to experience it. Good for us moving forward in the future. But I've also got to make decisions on, what I think is best for us is how we win the game. We still want to finish the season strong. So yeah, there's going to be some conversations to be had. We have got loads of different options. Gags has played half this year. George has played half this year. Obviously, Kez has been playing half. And Ducker, so, there's options, yeah.
If Marshall does play, what can we expect? What sort of a half is he?
Yeah, that's probably one of the difficult things for him, really. At the moment, he's a running 6. So he's an old school running 6 more than anything else. He's got a really big frame. He's really tall. When he puts some weight on, when he actually gets in the gym and puts some weight on and matures a little bit, I think he's going to be. I don't want to make comparisons of anybody because it puts a lot of pressure on. But probably the one that springs to mind is he's not as big yet, obviously, but if he fills out, he's like a sort of Trent Barrett sort of look, where you can imagine being a bigger body. He's not at this moment in time big. He's only lean, but yeah, he's more of a running threat than he is a controlling halfback at this time. Which makes it a little bit difficult when Ollie Russell can't play. Cause it'd be nice to throw him with Ollie Russell, that experience, that that controller. But look, Kez has done a really good job over the last couple of weeks, and he's getting better and better. He's Kez in that role. So, if we do decide to go that way, it'd be great. We're not decided yet.
As someone yourself who made his Super League debut at 17, I think you were, weren't you? Yeah. Do you look at this in a slightly different way, or can you appreciate what that young man might have to go through, or does it make you a bit more reticent maybe to put him in, knowing what you went through early on? I don't know.
No, look, I'm excited. If he does get his opportunity, I'd be really excited for him. He's generally you don't get opportunities as a young kid until there's injuries, and that's just the way it was. The same for me, the same for Lockers who played at side of me, Kev, and all those lads that made us debut at Wigan during my time. We didn't get an opportunity because they thought a young 17-year-old better than Adrian Lamb. It was just the fact they were injured, and that's how you get an opportunity when you're young. And you've just got to make sure that you're ready and doing the right stuff in training and in the academy or in the reserves, wherever you're playing that week. And he's been doing that. Like I said, we haven't made a decision just yet. But the signs have been really good for a while for him.
Just on the form at the moment, how happy have you been with the upturn? Because you're coming home with a wet sail, aren't you? I mean, you expected that, didn't you? You said that was going to happen at the start of the season, but you've overcome a lot of injuries at the moment. You're not putting out your first choice 17 at the moment. So how encouraged have you been with the momentum at the moment?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm a clairvoyant, but I said it all along that we would finish the season better than what we started, and that wasn't me just having a stab in the dark and and throwing a little bit of faith in the air. It were an educated decision, an opinion that we had such a disruptive, pre-season and early on, that the more players that we can get on the field training together, I think the more combinations we can build, the better we'll be. And it hasn't been plain sailing. We're still, we still had to make adjustments for players going out, but the rest of the players have had more game time, more training time, and like I said before, them young lads that have been playing, there's been a fair few that have probably had way more experience than they ever have done. George Flanagan's one, in particular, that just the more games he's playing, the better he gets, and he still has every now and again a little bit of a dip. But them dips are becoming a little bit less low the longer he plays, the more he plays. So, yeah, I always thought we were gonna finish better than what we have done, what we started. Sorry, and that's proven to be the case. But look, we're going to go against a Wakefield side that are played very good rugby all year. I think they've had a little bit of a kick up the backside this week. There's a lot of pressure on them. Because they've been in and around that six for a long time. And with that pressure, there's going to make the six. They've got to win games, a little bit like Warrington was last week with us. Last week Warrington, it was sort of a bit of a do or die game for them, really. And I feel like it's a similar situation for Wakefield. The pressure's on them. There's a lot of pressure on them. They have to start winning games. I think they're in competition with Hull, and we want to ruin the party. We want to ruin that party. Really, we want to try and knock off as many scalps as we can for the end of the season, not only for ourselves, but not only to knock them off. But to build some momentum going into next year.
Just lastly for me, just talking about next year, Chris Chester made a good point this week when he was talking about Castleford and his players having to see the next few games as a dress rehearsal for next year and impressing their new coach. Obviously, you're incumbent there, but are there still players that have a reason to try and impress at the moment? Do you see what I mean? Are the players that you're still not overly sure about regarding next year? Is there still a personal motivation for players out there from a Huddersfield point of view?
Once you are involved in professional sport, you would be extremely naive to not realise that every single week is an audition. You are not auditioning for the club you are at. You are going against the clubs that could be potential suitors further down the line, whether you're auditioning for an international jersey. Every single week you are in the spotlight. You're in the spotlight, and there's always something to play for. And our team and our side are no different. And I was really chuffed, if I'm honest, with the response we got last week. Because it'd be very easy after the Saints' performance for us to not ever down tools, but to think there's nothing to play for. But they definitely show there is something.
All the best, my friend. I will see you on Saturday. See you tomorrow. I'll pass you over to Callum.
Hi, Luke. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. You brought Ollie Russell back on loan. Is there a potential chance that you could join permanently?
Oh, look, that's not even been discussed this moment in time. It really was just a case of we've lost some experience once again. We lost another spine player, so we needed that in to help us for the rest of the year. And like I said before, I think anybody who watched that game justified bringing him back. And we knew it was the right decision when we brought him back, and he played really, really well. Got a really good relationship with Ollie, but I'm not sure what the situation is at Wakefield. As far as I'm aware, he's signed a 2-year deal, or a 3-year deal, sorry, at the beginning of the year. So he's tied down with them. So at this moment in time, it's just a loan.
At this stage of the season, you've got teams that are potentially on holiday, so to speak. I mean, Castleford have been quite poor in recent weeks, Warrington, but you're kind of booked the trend. How impressed are you by that? I'm
really impressed with the lads. I've said it all along. Look, it'll be very easy. I think the lads have an understanding of what's going on this year, but the team morale that they've had, not turning on each other, not turning on staff, not turning on the club, and the club getting behind the lads and the fans getting behind the lads has been, honestly, it's been second to none. You could not have asked for us as a club to actually being in a tough position, but actually it galvanised you and actually be together. And we are bucking the trend. Really, like you said, we're bucking the trend that other teams that are in and around us have kind of, I wouldn't say throw the towel in, but are struggling for performances, and we've been showing that we are still in it, and we're still fighting. The St Helens game was probably a game too far for us. I thought in the games leading up to that we were really, really good, but we went up against a red hot Saints side who I think are going to cause some teams some problems in the playoffs. Their forwards are I think they're one of the best forwards in the competition, and they're showing that at this moment in time. We hit them at the wrong time. We had a man sin bin. They were playing good, and they just steamrolled us. But yeah, in the previous sort of 5 or 6 weeks before that, and last week, yeah, we've shown that we've got a bit of fight in us still.